Hello there, very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us here on M7 Live around the globe. M7, Mondays at 7 o'clock, we take the opportunity to get together for a workshop. I like to call it a workshop, because this isn't just about me talking to you or bringing guests in and blah, blah, blahing. And no offense to anyone, blah, blah, blahing can be very, very useful, but it isn't a conversation for you to listen into. This is a conversation for you to participate in. So I like to call it a workshop because you will get the opportunity not just to hear about breathing techniques, which can be very helpful for helping you calm down and things of that nature. You won't just get to hear about mindfulness. You won't just get to hear about meditation. You will get to participate. And for me, the importance of participation is that you get to experience it. Now, if this is your very first time joining us at M7, My Mind Matters, then you might just get a little feel for what this is all about. But if you join me week after week after week after week, then you can start to feel the difference because you're literally working on a muscle. And just like the body has muscles, the mind has muscles. These neuro pathways become stronger and stronger and stronger. And so, listen, this is just once a week, every Monday at 7 o'clock. If you could listen to this or segments of this every day, then you will exponentially increase the speed that you can get to a very comfortable place where you can enjoy peace of mind, where you can start to relax. And in fact, I would encourage you to go beyond that if you can. And this is the reason why I teach breath work, mindfulness, and meditation, because it's going to give you the opportunity to use any of these three tools which fit perfectly together. And you can use any three of those at some point during your day. So, for example, there's no point in me just teaching you meditation. I'm not knocking meditation. I love meditation. It's a very powerful tool. But meditation probably going to take you 5-10 minutes. Well, if you're in a board meeting, you can't do that. And even mindfulness, it can be difficult to tap into that with an audience. And breath work, that can be difficult to tap into with an audience. You start breathing heavily. And so I will show you different techniques where perhaps you can start breathing in the audience or the other members of staff wouldn't even know what you're doing. I'll teach you hints and tricks and tips, things of that nature that will make it easy for you to do mindfulness even with people in the room, and they won't know what you're doing. And you can do that with your feet. You can do that with your hands. You can certainly do that with your breathing. And you can even do it with your eyesight and your hearing. And so these are very powerful tools that can be used at any point of your day, even if you're incredibly busy. I mean it, even if you're incredibly busy, even if you're engaged in a conversation. And so if you find yourself being triggered, if you find yourself becoming angry or anxious or nervous or wound up or breaking into a sweat, then you can use some of these techniques. There are lots of different ones, and over the weeks, we change them so you can learn more techniques. And if you are taking classes or following something on, I don't know, YouTube, externally from here, then you might learn different techniques. And so it's important for me to tap into all of these so you've got the opportunity to pick which ones work best for you. If you are brand new tonight, and thank you for your company, I do appreciate it. I know the numbers are growing and growing and growing. And if you can't make it every Monday, don't worry, because as soon as it's finished, it automatically goes onto Facebook, onto LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and a podcast as well. So if you go to the website, engagewithsuccess.com, go onto the resources button, and you'll see there's newsletters on there. There is the podcast on there, and that'll give you a chance to catch up and find out what's been going on. Okay, having said that, tonight's focus will be all about a 15-minute loop that the vast majority of us have. It's called the thought loop. And the thought loop goes round and round and round in our heads. Sometimes it might just be for 2 seconds. It's a thought that just comes back to you. And that might be happening every 15 minutes. In other cases, it might last as long as 2 minutes, or you might even find if you're really in a difficult situation, you're worried about finances, perhaps right here in the UK right now, mortgage is going up. If you just renewed your mortgage, or you know you will need to over the coming weeks, you could find yourself in a difficult situation and you could be breaking a sweat. You can be getting very, very, very anxious. And that can certainly lead you into a negative thought loop. And so then you find it's just going over and over and over and over in your head. And that might be when you can't sleep at night. You're laying in bed looking out the window, looking at the moon. And I promise you, I use that as an example because around 20 years ago, that's exactly where I was. Around 20 years ago, I had built up, I've been broke 3 times, gone bust 3 times. And around 20 years ago, this is the last time that I did it, I was around £50,000 in debt. And that is a very difficult place to be. And I guess 20 years ago, that was, maybe the equivalent of 80 or 100,000 today. And so I do understand how difficult things can be. But the techniques I'm sharing with you today can help ease that. I'm not saying it will take it away. If you've got financial difficulties, you've got financial difficulties. But what if I could help you to find a way to calm that down and deal with it more effectively? Because I think you'll agree, there are often occasions when something happens, and let's say, what could be a good example? You're in a queue, you're in a line, and you're waiting for services. Let's say it's in a bank, just for an example. And then somebody turns up and they jump the queue, they get in front of you. And oh man, that can make you go crazy. And so imagine if you could calm yourself down and you didn't get aggressive, you didn't get nasty, but you still got to speak to them and tell them that there was a queue and that they should get to the back of it. You don't have to be aggressive and nasty. And of course, then you might get the outcome you want. But if you're aggressive and nasty, it could end in fisticuffs. It could end in expletives. They could be swearing at you. So these are just different ways to handle things. And ultimately, I don't know about you, but I certainly feel a lot better if I can stay calm. I certainly feel a lot better if I'm managing my emotions, if I'm managing my thoughts, and I get to deal with a situation, with an event as a decent adult, as a good human being, rather than someone that just loses their temper and becomes vulgar and nasty and horrible. Yeah. And that's what all of these techniques tonight are about. So I'll constantly bring up the thought loop, and especially the negative thought loop. That's the one that really gets to most people. So if we can turn that around and make it a positive thought loop, then that becomes much, much more impactful. So let me share this with you before we do our first exercise. Think of being on each of your shoulders, a little character, a little personality. One's positive and one's negative. So I like to call those the inner coach. That's your positive one. And your inner demon or your inner critic. And these are the ones that will be negative and bringing you down. And who do you think you are? What makes you think you can do that? Why do you think you're better than everyone else? All these things that go round and round and round. These are our negative thought loops. They're also called saboteurs or sage on this side. Sage will be your coach, and saboteur will be the bad guy, the demons, the critic. Yeah. And there's also, maybe you've read the book, The Chimp Paradox, similar type of idea. Now, all of this is based on truth because we have 2 halves of the brain, and there are different regions of the brain that work in different ways. So if you're thinking very negative, the chances are you're in survival mode. And so your brain is kicking in, as it should, rightly should, and it's warning you about all these things that can go wrong because it's trying to protect you. But of course, it doesn't mean they are going to go wrong. And then the other side of the brain is trying to be positive and help you get to the result that you would like. So let me give you one more example before we start. A good example might be, ever had this when the boss gives you a call or sends you a message and says, come and see me at 9 o'clock in the morning. And now your inner critic, your demons, your saboteurs are telling you, oh my goodness, I'm going to get fired. That little tiny little thing happened. I did something stupid, something tiny. So nobody would even think about it. Someone must have been and told him about it. I'm going to get low. I know there's redundancies coming. Maybe the company's not doing as well as it should. Maybe my sales aren't as high as they should be. And so they're going to let me go. We start creating all of these things when actually we could balance that out, and we could be thinking, what are the positives? What if he's inviting me for a good reason? What if he wants to pat me on the back? But we don't, do we? We think of all the negative things. And then you go to the meeting and it is a pat on the back. In fact, you're going to get promotion. In fact, you're going to be in charge of 2 more staff. So things are going really, if that happens, there's just an example. You might not want to be in charge of any more staff. You might not want to be in charge of staff at all. But these are just examples of how the mind works. And I'm confident you can find many more examples yourself. Okay, let's start on our first one. If you can, please close your eyes, sit comfortably in your chair. If you have been sat down for a long time today, maybe you just want to stand up and have a little shake out first, then get in your chair, get the spine nice and straight, get your feet on the floor, and then close your eyes, put your hands on the top of your legs, and get as comfy as you possibly can. Now, we'll be playing music in the background, and I find that helps to make everything even more relaxing. In fact, on occasion, I'll stop talking and just give you a chance to listen to the music. Now, whilst we settle in, I want you to take a nice deep breath in through the nose, hold on to it for a moment, and let it out through the mouth. Nice deep breath in through the nose, hold on to it for a moment, and let it out through the mouth. Okay, now I'm going to add counts. So breathing in through the nose for 1, 2, 3. Hold on to it for 1, 2, 3. And let it out for 1, 2, 3. Let's do the same now, but for 4. In through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on to it for 1, 2, 3, 4. And let it out for 1, 2, 3, 4. Going to go for 5 this time. Bring it in through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold on to it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let it out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just continue breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth at your own pace. I just want to share with you an email that I got earlier in the week. And a lady wrote to me to tell me that she struggles with her breathing. I think they call it COPD. Forgive me if I got that wrong, but something of that nature. And she went for a regular checkup because they like to make sure that she's still breathing okay, which obviously is pretty fundamental to life. And apparently her breathing has improved dramatically, and she was thanking M7 for that, because she regularly comes on a Monday evening and takes the deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Now, I often talk to you about reducing anxiety and stress, and we do say that it can. I never like to make promises, and it does depend on the amount of work you put in and the regularity of your visits to this type of work, but it can make a big, big difference. And that was proven to be true, because the hospital had told her that her breathing was fantastic, and they're really impressed how strong her breath work was. Okay, whilst you've got your eyes closed and you're breathing at your own pace in through the nose and out through the mouth, I just want you to think about times when you could use this simple skill. And if skill sounds like too big of a deal, then let's call it a technique, a mode, a module, a tool, if you wish. When could you use this tool? So say somebody annoys you, somebody upsets you. Maybe there's somebody you have to see regularly and they drive you crazy. Well, obviously closing your eyes is really, really powerful, and it allows you to focus on your breathing. But imagine now doing this with your eyes open. Imagine just breathing in and breathing out at a conscious pace, at a very steady pace. You could even be at a board meeting, a staff meeting, and while somebody else is chatting away, you breathe in through the nose, the mouth, and they don't even need to know. So that's how powerful this tool can be. And of course, you could do this while you're driving. Obviously, don't close your eyes, but you could literally be breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth whilst you drive. So these are techniques that you can practice over and over and over again. And I would recommend that you try that. Next time you're under pressure, next time you're stressed, next time you can feel yourself getting on edge, take a moment just to breathe deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth. Now again, today We're talking about the thought loop, and in particular, the negative thought loop. Just for a moment, I want you to think about your day. What do you think your negative thought loop might be? What do you think of time and time and time again? I already mentioned finances. That will be true for many people. But is it career? Would you like to earn more money, but you don't think you can? Would you like to change job, but you don't think you can? Do you lack confidence in doing things of this nature? Because this positive thought loop can really help you to do that. Encouraging yourself, growing your own confidence can be life-changing. This is all about quietening those saboteurs, strengthening your sage, and then finally, the third tool, the ultimate tool, is self-command, commanding your mind, paying attention to when it goes into a negative loop and bringing it back. Now, because I'm talking, the chances are that you are focused on me and what I'm saying, but you might still find your mind drifts off and then you manage to bring it back. That's quite normal. That is completely and utterly natural. Please don't feel odd or strange or think that you're failing, because that will be completely and utterly untrue. But I'm going to give you a moment while you continue to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth with your eyes closed. Just listen to the music and see where your mind wanders off to. See if it gives you any clues to your negative thought loop. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Okay, I'm going to bring the breathing, the breath work to an end now. Keeping your eyes closed, let me give you one last count for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold on to it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let it out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Now, just for a moment, I want you to try it with your eyes open, because you might be in a scenario where you can't go anywhere. You can't get to the bathroom. You haven't got the opportunity to close the door and be on your own and close your eyes and breathe. You could be surrounded by people. You could be on a train or a tube and you feel uncomfortable closing your eyes. So just practice for a moment, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, even with your eyes closed, open, And you can be looking at me. You can be looking at Buddha back here. By the way, if you are new to this, I'm not preaching Buddhism. I'm just a big fan of Buddha. As you can see, Buddha's got their eyes closed. And so this is an opportunity for Buddha to really go to that place of peace and calmness. So that's why I'm a big fan of this. It ties in with the breath work, the mindfulness, and the meditation. So it's just a symbol of what M7 is all about. Now you're breathing consciously. That's what I like to call it, conscious breathing, because most of us do it unconsciously. We're breathing. We don't think about it. Think about it. When did you think about your breathing today? Maybe if you've been out on a bicycle and you're struggling, maybe if you had to walk up a hill, or you've been for a power walk, or you've been to the gym and you start Breathing like that, that's probably the only time. Maybe swimming, there's another one. Maybe any physical exercise of that nature, we might become conscious of our breathing because it changes so dramatically. Otherwise, we don't pay any attention to it. We don't think about it. But it is a very, very powerful tool and a great way for you to become conscious. Okay, I want to move on to mindfulness because I always find that the evening flies by. So mindfulness is a different task. We do start with breathing, but ultimately this is really about focusing on something so intently that we can forget about our thought loop. So we can use all five senses to do this. We can be using our eyes, we can use sight. So you could look at something, you could even look at me and really focus on things like my eyebrows, or maybe I've got spots, or maybe I've got freckles, or maybe you want to notice the tone of my skin. Maybe you're looking at the badge on my polo shirt. Maybe you're taking a close look at Buddha and noticing the little spots all over it. It doesn't matter. It could be something, it doesn't have to be the computer screen. You could look away and notice something in the room that you're in your office, in your bedroom, wherever you may be. And you can do this in a car. You can do this in an office. So sight is a really good one because you do not close your eyes. If you were to close your eyes, I would call that visualization. And then you start to imagine things with your eyesight. But I want you to focus right now intently on something in the room that you're in. So the opposite end of my office, I can see brickwork, exposed brickwork over there. And I could start to look at the bricks and the different patterns that are on there, the different shades that are on there, the little chips and the marks on each of those bricks. So what have you got? Just give you a moment to look around, pick something and just stare at it intently and notice the shapes. Imagine what the texture might feel like if you were to rub your fingers across it. Don't, just imagine what it would be like. Look at the angles, the shades, maybe the color. Really notice the color. Maybe it's not the color you thought it was. Maybe there are more colors in there, more different shades than you thought there was. I'll be quiet for a moment and give you a chance to do that. Okay, let's move on now to the ears. So hearing things. I'll stop this music for a moment because I want you to be able to use the hearing to, let's say, first of all, let's go for something as far away as possible. Maybe you've got a window open. Maybe you don't need a window open. You can hear the traffic outside. So try to hear something as far away as possible. Now, for some people, that will be in the same house. That might even be in the same room. But put your attention, if you need to, close your eyes and just listen. What can you hear? I can hear birds outside tweeting. That's about it. That's all I can hear. Now I can hear a car. That's my wife's car. Just focus on that sound intently. Listen to it for a moment. Okay, now let's try something else. Let's try and listen to the closest sound possible. Maybe you can hear, for me, it's the whirring of the computer. I can hear the fan keeping it cool. Maybe you can hear people next door, somebody cooking, television perhaps. Maybe the kids have got the music on loudly. Just focus on that. And again, this quietens the mind down because you put your focus on something else. You're not just letting your mind run around and round and round and round. You're not allowing the loop to take over. Okay, let's go for smell. Now, this probably is my weakest skill. My wife has a very sensitive nose or sensitive um, sense of smell. You can't, so many times she will say, "Can you smell that?" And I'm like, "No." She really picks up everything. So it's different for everybody. Perhaps you can smell something near you right now. Try to smell. Maybe you've got a window open. You can smell pollen. You can smell plants. You can smell the fragrance from the flowers. Maybe it's your own aftershave. Maybe your deodorant. What can you smell, if anything? And if you can't smell anything, don't feel bad about that. There's nothing really here for me to smell. But if you were outside in a park or in a garden, sitting outside maybe on a lunch break, then maybe you could smell the plants. Maybe it's not always a nice smell, right? It could be a bad smell. You could just focus on that cooking. There's another good one. When something's cooking, like sausages, bacon, fish, you can smell those. Curry, a good curry, you can smell it all. So you just focus on that for a moment. Let's go for taste next. So taste, we can't really do taste. I didn't ask you to bring any food along tonight. Feel free if you want to go grab a biscuit or something nearby, maybe a sweetie, a piece of fruit, and then just pop that into your mouth and linger on the flavor. Really focus on the flavor. Now, this is really good if you're eating a meal. You can eat mindfully. I'm not joking. That is not a trick. You can eat mindfully. So eat a lot slower. This is, by the way, many people do this. If you're on a weight program, you'd like to lose some weight, then you can eat mindfully. And so then just enjoy every morsel of that food, every bite, every crunch, and really, really enjoy it. And by focusing on your food, it'll take you longer to eat, and you might find that you eat less. My friend, best friend actually, is a fitness instructor. He always says, reduce the size of your plate. Don't use the big plates because you look at it and you think it's half empty. So use a little side plate, a smaller plate, and put your food on there, and it looks like you've got a full plate. So that's just something that might happen. I'm not telling you that will work for you, but it's certainly worth a go, isn't it? If that's one of your goals. So you can eat mindfully. That's another good one if you're at work. Maybe pop a piece of gum in your mouth and really focus on the flavors. You can taste the spearmint coming through, the menthol coming through. And that way it can seem like your attention is on somebody, but actually your attention is on your gum. So that's flavor. Then the next one is touch. Now, again, the beauty of all of these techniques I'm sharing with you today is you can do them on your own. You can do them in public. Touch, you do not need to close your eyes. That can often help. Right now, I'm just rubbing my hands up and down my legs, and I'm noticing how soft the fabric is on my trousers. Now, you could have trousers seersucker, for example. You can feel the different texture. You might have something that's cotton or linen, and you can feel the texture. You might have a pair of jeans on. Just rub your hands over those, or a skirt, shorts, whatever it may be, and feel the fabric. And if that's not really working for you, you can't really feel much, then you could also bring your hands onto your shirt or your jacket. And failing that, you can literally just put your hands together and feel your fingertips touching the fingertips. One thing I like to do is often rub my hands up and down like this. And this is the sensitive part for me. See what you feel. Almost want to laugh when you feel your hand getting down there. Just feel it. You're just paying attention to what you can feel through touch. And again, with my hands on my legs, I could be at a desk, at a table, in a board meeting. Nobody would have to know anything. And so if somebody says something, if you feel like you're under attack or somebody's saying your sales figures weren't good enough, then you could literally use the sense of touch to stay calm and remind yourself that you're in charge of your mind. Don't just react, respond intelligently. That's what this is about. So that's our 5 senses. And you can use all of those for mindfulness. There's one other technique in mindfulness, which is a mindful meditation. So tonight I'm going to do one which is probably my favorite. It's a classic. It's called a body scan, and we generally do this on a Monday at M7. So I'm just going to give you the opportunity to think about a little ball of light that's sitting there in front of you, like a miniature sun, basically, 4, 5, 6 inches in front of you, and it's just sitting there revolving and spinning around. So close your eyes, get comfortable. Just imagine that little sun orbiting in front of you. And because it's the sun, you can feel the heat coming off of it. You can feel the heat on your face. And actually, it feels really good. It's very relaxing. And often when we do this, people say they can see bright light coming through their eyelids because they can almost see this little miniature sunshine that's just in front of them. So now I want you to imagine pools of light building up over the eyes. Little pools of light on the left and the right eye building up now. But this is a very soothing energy, very relaxing, calming energy. And as those pools of light increase in size, imagine the energy now encompassing your entire eye, going into your skull and around your eye, just caring for it, loving your eye, helping it to rest, relax. If you have any eye conditions, just imagine that they were helping to heal them right now. Imagine being healed right now. Now bring that energy up across the bridge of the nose, up onto the forehead, and imagine it massaging your forehead. Jumping ahead of myself there, I was about to go scalp. But imagine it just massaging your forehead. If you need to, use your hands and actually massage your forehead. I recommend you put your thumbs on your temples and use your forefingers to massage the forehead. You don't need to, but if that helps you really enjoy this, feel free to. Bring that energy up now onto the scalp, onto the top of the head. Again, you can imagine someone massaging your head. If you've never had a head massage, get a new hairdresser because it's so good. Many of them do that today. When they're shampooing your hair, they give you a little head massage. It feels so good. And now continue bringing that energy across the top of the head, down across the back of the head, coming down towards the back of the neck. Just imagine a little neck massage right now, the back of your neck being massaged. That feels good. If you are stressed there, if that's an area where you hold on to your stress, just lean your head to the left and right. Try to release that negative energy. Release that tension. And now bring that energy, that golden light, white light, onto the shoulders, left and the right. And feel in your mind's eye, just imagine that masseuse stood behind you, really digging hard now into those shoulders, allowing any tension you might have to be released. Now bring that energy around to the front of your neck. And let's take it down over the front of your body, over your chest and your torso. And as it makes its way down, I want you to imagine it, that energy now able to penetrate your skin, get inside that rib cage, And just pass that positive energy onto your heart, onto your lungs. And as it makes its way down onto the belly, imagine it working around the kidneys, the liver, all of your organs resting, relaxing, feeling amazing. Now let's take the energy from the back of the neck and go down the spine, vertebra by vertebra, little by little down the back, almost like climbing down a ladder. Bone after bone after bone. Now bear in mind that in between each of those vertebrae is a tiny little, think of it as a little sack, a little cushion. And those dehydrate throughout the day. Just imagine as that light comes down the back that is helping to rehydrate each of those little cushions. Making your way down the spine. We're about halfway now. Three-quarters of the way. And now we're at the very base of the spine. Now let's go back to the neck. And let's take that energy down over our right shoulder. Bring it into our arm. Down over the biceps and the triceps. If you've got any aches or pains here, imagine those being released. Moving down now into the elbow. From the elbow into the forearm. Coming down into the wrist. Into the palm of the hand. And then out through the thumb and the four fingers. 5 beams of light now coming out through that right hand. Okay, let's go to the left shoulder now. Bringing that light down over the biceps and triceps. Into the elbow. And from the elbow down over the forearm. Into the wrist, round and around it goes. Into the palm of the hand. Now into the fingers and the thumb. 5 beams of light coming out through that hand. 5 beams of light. Okay, now taking that energy back to the waist area. We've made our way down over the head, both arms over the torso, down the spine, back to our waist area. Imagine that light spinning around and around the waist. Coming down now into the right buttock. From the right buttock, let's make our way into the top of the leg. Over those giant muscles at the top of the leg, heading down towards the knee. If you get any aches or pains here in the knee area, just allow those to be released right now. And from the knee down through the shins, the calves, into the ankle, and now into the ball of the right foot, into the arch of the right foot, making its way forward to the flat of the foot, and now finally out through the toes. Big toe, second, third, fourth, and fifth toe. Now let's do the same with the left leg, so into the buttock, bringing that energy down now across those big muscles in the top of the leg, heading down in towards the knee. Round and round the knee we go. And take that energy down from the knee, over the shins, the calves, into the ankle. From the ankle into the ball of the foot, bringing that energy forward now into the flat of the foot, the arch of the foot, and now finally out through the toes. Big toe, second, third, fourth, and fifth toe. 5 beams of light coming out through that left foot. So now your entire body is submerged in this gorgeous, warm, loving light. That feels really relaxing. It feels really good. Just for a moment, whilst you're there, luxuriating, take a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Now again, because this is a guided mindfulness meditation, the chances are that you are focused on everything I'm saying, but your mind may have wandered. I'm going to give it a moment right now to wander. I'm going to give it a chance to go wherever it wants to go. And if it does, just bring it back and try to keep thinking about the wonderful sense of calmness that you're enjoying right now. Okay, let's make our way back. Bringing that energy in through the left foot now. Draw the light in back into the 5 toes, into the foot. Have that light come across the flat of the foot, the arch of the foot, the heel of the foot, up into the ankle. From the ankle now, making its way up the leg, over the shins and the calves, into the knee. From the knee, over those big muscles in the top of the leg, into your left buttock. Keep it there for a moment. Let's go back to the right foot. Imagine that light being drawn in through each of the 5 toes, into the flat of the foot, the arch of the foot, the ball of the foot, drawing it up now into the ankle. Now draw it from the ankle up over the calves and the shins into the knee. From the knee, draw that up over those big muscles over the top of the leg into the right buttock. Now let's hold on to that energy and bring it from the left and right buttock up into the waist area. Feel it coming around the hips, swirling around the body, up over the thighs, coming up onto the belly now, round and round the belly. Now we're going to bring that energy back up the arms. Let's start with the right arm. Bring the light in through the 5 fingers into the palm of the hand. Drawing it up through the forearm into the elbow. From the elbow up through the biceps and triceps into the left shoulder. And now bringing it and resting it at the back of the neck. Same with the right hand. Drawing that light in through the 5 fingers into the palm. Up over the forearm, into the elbow, from the elbow, the biceps and triceps, up into the right shoulder, holding that energy there. And let's bring it up through the back, from the bottom of the spine, little by little, drawing it up. Take your time. Feel that energy being raised, vertebra by vertebra. You're resting, you're relaxing, you're feeling very, very good. And now bring it up across the top of your belly as it makes its way back up towards the chest. Imagine it sharing that love, that energy, that relaxation with all of your internal organs. liver, kidney, lungs, the heart, up over the chest now to the very top of the neck. And let's bring all that energy from the two arms, the front and the back of to the back of the neck. Now rest there for just a moment. Move your head around if it helps, if it makes you feel more relaxed. Releasing any negative energy, any stress, any tension, just evaporating. Taking the energy up now across the back of the neck, up onto the scalp. From the scalp onto the forehead. From the forehead onto the bridge of the nose. And finally, just the two pools of light sitting over your eyes. Two pools of light over the eyes. And now allow that light to go from the eyes back to the miniature sun, that little sun, 4, 5, 6 inches in front of you, rotating, spinning around, and still feel the heat coming off of it. Feel the heat coming off of it, but allow it to sit there. And now it disappears off into space, off into the ether. As we come to the conclusion of that body scan, take a nice deep breath in through the nose for 1, 2, 3. Hold on to it for 1, 2, 3, and let it out for 1, 2, 3. When you're ready and feeling comfortable, feel free to open those eyes. Sometimes it's nice to let it all out. So when you're doing those breaths, if you do feel like going, then do so. Sometimes if you're really stressed, a primal breath can be really helpful. And you're almost like, almost angry. Let it out. Let it out. If you're in a room on your own and you can do it, let it out. It feels really, really, really good. Okay, I've got to move on to the last part now. I always run out of time. It never seems to be quite enough. I hope you're feeling rested and relaxed. I'm hoping that you've got lots and lots of tips and techniques you can already use. And again, I want you to go back to these as often as you can. So if you can do something tomorrow, that would be great. Worst case scenario, join me next Monday at 7 o'clock. If you'd like to read more, learn more, feel free to go to engagewithsuccess.com. Lots more information there. Okay, last part now is meditation. And meditation is kind of an extension. We've just done really to a certain degree a meditation of sorts. It's called a body scan, whereas a meditation allows us to do many other things. We can go to different places, literally different places. We can really contemplate areas of our lives. We can visualize our future. We can be thankful for things that are going on. So meditation, again, is a different skill. I like to think of it as a deeper dive. It's the breathing, then the mindfulness, and then the deepest dive of all. Now, because we've done the breathing and because we've done a body scan, this time I'm going to get you to close your eyes. And as we do that, I'll get you to take a few breaths, but then we will go to the place of your choosing. If you go, what does that mean? Just listen to the instructions. So when you're ready, close your eyes, feet on the floor, put your hands on the top of your legs. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold on to it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let it out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now just breathe at your own pace for a moment. And I want you to think of a place that you would love to be, where you would feel relaxed, a place in nature. That might be at the beach. That could be in a meadow or a forest. It could be the jungle. It could be up a mountain. You decide. It can be anywhere you like. Perhaps you're near a waterfall. Maybe it's a Caribbean island. You decide. Just for a moment, start to imagine what that place might look like. So if it's a beach, is it sandy beach or pebbles? Is it in the UK or somewhere else? Is it white sand, golden yellow sand? Is it fine sand or grainy sand? Is it volcanic sand? You can go to beaches where the sand is black and red. It doesn't have to be yellow or white. You decide this is your beach, if you've chosen a beach. If you're in a meadow or the woods, a forest, imagine the colour of the grass. Is it bright green or is it not grassy? Is it ferns everywhere? Or perhaps you're up a mountain. And if you're up a mountain, is it cold? Is it hot? Is it high? Is the view amazing? Now I want you to take a moment in your mind's eye just to lay down on the surface that you're at. So you may lay on the sand. You might lay on the grass or soil. You may lay down on the rocks. For a moment, just feel the earth holding you. If you're on the sand, imagine it changing its shape to suit you, to mold itself to you. The little grains moving around gently and just supporting you perfectly. Almost like memory foam, shifting its shape to suit your needs. If you're on the grass or soil, imagine that is supporting you, but that too is just soft enough to change its shape gently and be really, really comfortable to lie on. And if you're up the mountains, it will be rocks, but you found a really good place, a really good location, and you can lie horizontally and feel very safe, very secure, and very comfortable. As you look up into the sky because you're on your back, imagine feeling that sun beating down on you, a little like that miniature sunshine that we had run over your body. Feel the heat on your face, feel the heat on your body, feel the heat on your arms, your torso, feel the heat on your legs, feel the heat on your feet. And whilst you're laying there feeling that heat, take a look at the sky. What color is the sky? If you're at the beach, is it just the sky? There's nothing there, or are there some clouds? If you're in the woods or a forest, are there lots of trees in the way, or have you found a clearing? And if you're up the mountain, is that sky bright blue? Are you up above the clouds? Are you in the clouds? Is it misty? And now imagine in that sky a bird. If you're at the beach, it may be a seagull. If you're in the woods, think of some bird that could be flying around. If you're up the mountains, perhaps it's something more like a hawk, a kestrel, perhaps even an eagle flying around at the top of that mountain. And as you watch it, it feels really relaxing. It's almost like the birds circling around above you, wondering what you're doing here. You've got this incredible sense of connection. And just for a moment, think about how grateful you are to be in such a beautiful location and at peace with nature. Take a moment to rest, relax, And breathe. Put a smile on your face. And just repeat the words thank you over and over again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Take a moment to feel really, really blessed. Right here, right now, everything is perfectly good. Okay, I'm going to bring that to an end. I want you to take a nice deep breath in through the nose for 1, 2, 3. Hold on to it for 1, 2, 3, and let it out for 1, 2, 3. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Well, I hope that was useful. I hope you found that interesting. I hope these are tools that you're thinking, I could do this, I could get into this. There's lots more you can learn, and this is certainly going to offer you the opportunity to feel more relaxed and calm. It is something you need to do time and time and time again. If you do it once, you're going to forget all about it. It's like a muscle. You've got to work on it and build on it and build on it and build on it. If you'd like more information, please go to engagewithsuccess.com. If you have got any questions, you can always email me at info@engagewithsuccess.com. My name's Paul. I look forward to seeing you again in the future. And thank you for your company tonight. Bye-bye.